Our group topic was tools/methods of measuring attitudes and engagement and satisfaction in the workplace. This is group two of Ashlyn, Sloan, Jacqueline, and Natasha.
So our first topic is the importance of measuring employee engagement. Employee engagement is a very critical piece of the success of an organization, and it is defined as the level of commitment and dedication an employee feels towards their job, their team, and their organization. It is employee engagement is one of the things that is vital to the success of any organization. The base of your organization is your people, and that's what's going to make your organization into the best that it can be. So studies have shown that employees with a high level of engagement and connection to their organization are more likely to stay at their company. Retaining that institutional knowledge is one of the really beneficial things towards having high levels of employee engagement. On the downside, employee disengagement is going to spread to other employees throughout the organization, and could cause others to leave as well. Now, there are several methods for measuring employee engagement. The most popular of which is the Utrecht Work Engagement Scale. It is a self-reporting survey that measures an employee's work engagement and their psychological connection to the work that they're doing, as well as to their company and their organization and the mission they're in. It measures on three different fronts. Vigor, dedication, and absorption are the main three things that they measure on the Utrecht Work Engagement Scale. Very similar to that is the Maslach Burnout Inventory, whereas Utrecht is more about the connection that an employee has with their work. The MBI poses it as two ends of a scale, where one end is burnout and one end is engagement. And then lastly is the job demands resources model that examines relationships pertaining to engagement, such as demands and exhaustion and resources, as well as the engagement to the company as well. And it has found that there is a distinct relationship between high levels of demands and high levels of exhaustion, as well as high levels of resources and high levels of engagement. The benefits of this is that it has a very flexible output and very flexible boundaries, and you can get a lot more answers from the JDR model, a more wide variety of answers.
The importance of measuring employee attitudes. Utilizing multiple methods in an attitude measurement enhances accuracy and as well as depth in understanding workplace attitudes. Attitudes are extremely important to gauge because they are the way that we evaluate things, people, information, or experiences based on our own individual opinions, beliefs, and feelings. So select measurement tools that align with the specific context and goals of the workplace setting is going to be what really gives you the best gauge or pulse on that information. So you want to combine self-report and observational methods to offset biases and validate findings. Continuous refinement of measurement techniques is essential for keeping data relevant and insightful. Supporting effective workplace management and interventions. Attitude shapes employees' performance. So the influence engagement levels and play a key role in cultivating organizational culture. There's several different ways to measure attitudes in the workplace, and they include surveys, questionnaires, scales, certain types of surveys, employee attitude surveys. It focuses on general employee sentiments about the workplace, leadership, and policies. It really just gives a good gauge about those opinions of the employees. The Likert scale, we're all very familiar with that, from strongly agree, strongly disagree, but it can really reflect any sort of questions that is pertaining to the organization. There's the Thurstone scale. It measures attitudes by statements ranked on favorability. There is also the semantic difference scale. Basically, it uses two different objectives and makes you rate which one that you find the most valuable. The advantages to do these surveys and questionnaires to measure attitudes in the workplace is scalable across large organizations. It's standardized for consistency, and it's very flexible for those addressing diverse topics and adapting to various workplace environments. The challenges that comes with measuring attitudes, however, it's prone to be a little bit responses bias, where employees may give socially desirable answers instead of true feelings. The compliance issues, we all know that it's a little bit challenging to get anyone to be 100% compliant across any organization. And so just getting those to get in could be a little bit of a challenge, getting these surveys, questionnaires, and scales done. And it also comes with limited depth and understanding complex attitudes.
Okay. The importance of measuring employee satisfaction. So in healthcare, satisfaction is not just focused on our patients, it has to pertain to the employees as well, because we have to enjoy coming to the hospitals or other healthcare settings to give our patients the best satisfaction that they can have in a place where they're supposed to feel better. And according to a article that I read, over 40% of employees are not satisfied in their job, whether that's emotionally or physically. So how they feel with their coworkers or their supervisors and their environment, how they feel in the physical workplace that they're at, whether it's condition or supplies, protocols, anything like that. And the best way to think about it is satisfaction equals long-term employees. Your retention is going to be so much better if you have satisfied employees, where if you have dissatisfied employees, everyone's going to want to leave the job and you're going to end up being short-staffed. The biggest way to increase employee work satisfaction is keeping that line of communication open in the entire chain of command, all the way from supervisor down to subordinate. So some of the ways to measure employee satisfaction in the workplace is that basic employee satisfaction survey, whether it's a paper document or a Google Doc or just an anonymous questionnaire. This is the easiest way to target very specific areas of your workplace. So say you have a change in your protocols or a change in some type of supply and you want to know how your employees feel about it, you can send out a very basic satisfaction survey asking open-ended or multiple choice questions about how that employee feels about that supply or protocol, and it gives you a very specific answer, whereas some other methods like the ESI are very broad. So the ESI uses an equation, kind of going back to like algebra, to where you have employees answer 3 to 4 questions revolving around how they are satisfied with their job or workplace, and you ask them on a scale of 1 to 10. So if you ask them, how do you feel about this change in protocol on a scale of 1 to 10, and they answer an 8, you add up their total on their survey, you put it into the question mean value, divided by 3, subtracted by 1, divided by 9, and then you times it by 100, and that gives you your total. The thing about this is it's very broad. It's not very specific. Yes, you're asking a specific question, but you're not getting specific thoughts from your employees, really. You're just getting a general idea about how they feel. And the last thing is probably the most intimidating, which is the one-on-one meetings, actually pulling in employees and talking to them alone about how they feel about things. So this can go one of two ways. It's either very beneficial. Some employees are very comfortable with their supervisors. They have a very open and trustworthy relationship where they will feel confident in telling them their emotions and their thoughts about a certain problem. Or you're going to have those employees that may not have built that relationship with their supervisor yet, so they're not going to be as open about talking to their supervisors.
In conclusion, employee engagement, satisfaction, and attitudes are vitally important factors that play into an organization's environment. Tools such as surveys are extremely important and can be used to help gauge a patient or employee satisfaction, engagement, and attitudes. These surveys can be electronic or paper versions to gather anonymous feedback. Along with employee satisfaction being vitally important in healthcare, when there's high satisfaction levels, then it translates to there being longer employment rates. Having open communication in an organization is extremely important to enhance workplace satisfaction, engagement, and attitudes. And when there are positive attitudes, higher engagement, and high levels of satisfaction, everyone in the organization will benefit, whether they are an employee or a patient.
And here's our work cited. All right.